So, time to take you through the starting grid of race 10 of the meeting. Heat 2 for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Groups A versus C. Here's the starting grid. Fredrik Zevis Christensen will line up on the front row from pole position. Alongside him will be Heat 1 winner Maxime Didix in the 499. Ragnar Virus and Imke Arts will be on row 2. They'll be ahead of Jules Cousin and DD2 Masters pole sitter Nikolai Christensen. Rafael Jesus will be joined by Mats Johan Overhoff on row number 4 with Noah Hip and Michael Driddenhuis rounding out the top 10. Michael Becker will be joined by Hannes Morin on row 6 with row 7 being completed by Karl Klibor and Brian Anker in the 409. Victor Frostbay and Thomas Rudokas will line up on row 8. Luca Neuenhausen and Louis Koch round out row 9 with Jan Eckstein and Lucas Dolizal completing the top 10. Completing the 24-strong grid will be Axel Goes, Thomas Piet, Sung Hung Moon and Maximilian Adolf completing the grid. So, into the tram lines, revs rise, lights are on, lights are out, we're underway. As Maxime Didix pulls in front and around the outside of Fredrik Zevis Christensen, heading through into turn 2. Someone got fired off and there's a big pile up at turn 3, one of which is the 540, Karl Klebor, amongst others. He was able to get away from there. Also, the 409 was involved. Brian Anker in the number 409 representing France, but Maxime Didix managing to use the outside line. The 424 of Maximilian Adolf is out of the race after that 3-car incident through turn number 3. Good thing is, Maximilian Adolf was able to walk away unassisted. But it's Maxime Didix that leads the way. Zevis Christensen in second. Third, it will be Imke Arts. Where is Ragnar Virus at the moment? He's currently P4. As Zevis Christensen tried to look up the inside through into turns 1 and 2, but Didix had that covered off rather nicely. Nikolai Christensen, who's leading the way in DD2 Masters, currently P5 on the road. He's got Jules Cousin not too far behind. So everyone looking over the right shoulder as Imke Arts very deep on the brakes going into turn 7. And Virus 4th in the train, Christensen 5th, Cousin, Morin now behind the 451. Classic Hannes Morin there. Used to see quite a few overtakes back in the first season of the Euro Trophy I did with Hannes Morin way back then, being with a certain team called Dan Holland Racing. Now Zevis Christensen goes to the inside. What will Didix do? He's going to try and hang on to it, but Imke Arts gets through. Does Ragnar Virus? Yes, he does. So Didix down from the race lead to 4th position. sorry, my apologies. Looks like Hannes Morin is actually in a... Well, Hannes Morin is trying to do his level best to keep with those in front. It's really good to see him back in a kart after all these years. Also took part in STCC TCR with Brink Motorsport with the Audi RS3 LMS. But dive bomb up the inside of Nikolai Christensen. That was a clean move at turn 12. That was Jules Cousin, as now Ragnar Virus goes up the inside of Imke Arts through at turn number 2 to now take second position away from the Dutch driver. So Adolf Duttenpleis and Clebo are out of this second heat. So we're down to 21 runners in this DD2 and DD2 Masters Heat 2, Groups A versus C. And Fredrik Zevis Christensen, who won the kickoff a couple of weeks ago, made the move up from seniors last year. But let's see what Virus has in the back pocket. 6 1/4 minutes to go. Virus has now put in the fastest lap of the race, a 55.370. That has quickly been bettered by Victor Frostbay, who's all the way down in 14th place. Very uncustomary from what I've seen before for the 430 from Denmark. So with Virus now closing in on Fredrik Zevis Christensen, he's pulling away from Imke Arts, from Maxim Dirks, from Jules Cousin, Nikolai Christensen, Hannes Morin, amongst others. Noah Hipp, Mats Johan Overhoff and Rafael Jesus rounded out the, well, Michael Becker rounded out the top 10 last time around. So Zevis Christensen leads by nearly half a second. Virus in P2, Arts in P3. There's going to be a change here because Christensen gets through on Cousin. That allowed Hannes Morin to get through. So a nice little opportunity for the 415 from Sweden. The only person from that Scandinavian nation that is here with us this weekend. Maxim Dirks very much embroiled in a battle with Imke Arts and has got past the 405. Let's not forget they are running with the same team now, these two. With Shippers Racing, running on Kart Republic machinery underneath. But Virus has pulled a gap and is trying to close that gap significantly to Fredrik Zevis Christensen. Gap is now metering at about half a second. 4 retirements now, as Brian Anker in the number 409 from France has retired from the race. Biggest mover up the order so far is Hannes Morin. Started on the outside of row 6 in 12th place, now is up to P6. And there you see the likes of Noah Hipp, who's got past Jules Cousin, Mats Johan Overhoff, and also Michael Becker on the 405 Comp Kart entry. So with still time left, Virus has an opportunity. Can he close on Zevis Christensen up ahead? 3.5 minutes still to go. The gap has gone under half a second again. New fastest lap of the race, 55.028 seconds by the Estonian, the 441, Ragnar Virus. And he's got a lead of about 1.2 seconds over Maxim Dirks in P3. Imke Arts, Nikolai Christensen ran out the top 5. With Christensen still leading the Masters classification. Michael Becker is the next best place driver in 10th. But again, as Virus tries to respond to Zebis Christensen. The Dane has that little bit extra. That gap's now nearly gone to 0.6 of a second. And Roger Young is definitely cheering on Mr. Virus as Imke Arts now fires it up the inside and past the number 499 of Maxime Dirix through into turn 2 as the Dutch driver retakes P3. Christensen is there. Morin is there. You've also got Noah Hip. Jules Cousin as up the inside on Maxime Dirix goes the DD2 Masters leader. Nikolai Christensen timed that one perfectly. Considering the fact that this has been the first time in 3 months that Maxime Dirix has been properly in a kart. He's been doing a lot of work with the team at Gebhard Motorsport, also competing in the 2024 Prototype Winter Series by Gedlich Racing. But he is going to do what he can. As all, there's still a little bit of comings together, some slight clashes here or there. So Dirix has got to fend off the likes of Cousin, Overhoff and Becker, who are very much close with him at this time. But Ragnar Virus has been setting fastest laps in comparison with anybody else, as the 409, well, it's going to provide insult to injury rather than hampering his finishing position. Brian Anker gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision, but retired on lap number 3. And Virus again, another new fastest lap. Zebis Christensen, a new personal best. Imke Arts, another new personal best. Nikolai Christensen is lapping just over 0.2 of a second slower, but he's sub 55. Now Christensen is one of the youngest DD2 Masters drivers that we actually have on the grid. So for him to be at that kind of pace, I'm not at all surprised. Timer will run out this time. Axel goes, and the 4.55 is going to make that another retirement as of lap number 9. So we are about to complete lap number 11 and go on to the final lap of this race. There's still one more DD2 Masters heat, which will bring the day to a close, and that will start at 5:55 p.m. local time. As Hannes Morin had Noah Hip right with him going through into turn 2. But here are the two at the front end of the field. Fredrik Zebis Christensen and Estonia's Ragnar Virus, who also made sure he got his own nice Carthletics livery sorted, which actually looks pretty good, to be honest with you. But it is going to come down to the final couple of corners. Fredrik Zebis Christensen started on pole position despite the best efforts of one Maxime Dirix to try and take the win away and have 2 for 2. It's going to be difficult to see who's going to be on pole for tomorrow's Superheat, but it is Fredrik Zebis Christensen that wins Heat 2, Groups A versus C in DD2 and DD2 Masters. You can see the frustration quite evident on Maxime Dirix as he pounded the steering wheel with his left hand in clear frustration. Zebis Christensen takes the win. Ragnar Virus P2. Imke Arts rounds off a very good day by taking 3rd after that one. Nikolai Christensen, 2 wins in DD2 Masters and not placing outside of the top 6 all day long, so well done to him. Hannes Morin in 5th, Jules Cousin in 6th, Mats Johan Overhoff 7th, ahead of Maxime Dirix, Noah Hip and Michael Becker, Rafael Jesus, Louis Koch having another good resurgence through this race, finishing P12, ahead of Thomas Rudokas from Lithuania, Victor Frostbait, Luca Neuenhausen, Thomas Piet, Lukas Dolizal with Jan Eckstein and Sung Hung Moon, rounding out the 19 finishers who completed all 12 laps of racing. On lap 8, we lost Axel Goes. Lap 3, Brian Anker, Marco Treppenpreis, Karl Klebo and Maximilian Adolf we lost on the opening lap.